That's our policy, you know. Now, if you line up over here and just come down this way, my assistant will be... Wait, you're jabbing me with that umbrella. Quiet.
I'm going to wrap it around your neck if you don't give me a new one right now. Oh, for heaven's sake, don't really know. Besides, I'm late for my duty call.
Well, there you are, Mr.
About
Perkins.
20 years, I think.
This young lady has a slight complaint about this purchase. Please, will you take care of this for her? Mr. Perkins will take care of things now. It's my lunch hour, you see. I'm sorry.
All right.
I get a little fed up on those things at times. Sure, it's my job, and we usually get things straightened out all right with a customer. But what about me? Plenty of things I'd like to complain about. You think anybody cares? Think anybody'd pay any attention? Hey, you know, maybe this is my chance. I got a few complaints about your business that you don't know about. And I'm glad you're here. So stay right there where you are, and I'll get a few things off my chest before I have to go back out there. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not you I'm talking about. Maybe you don't operate like most service stations. Most of them I get into don't seem to realize that I'm the guy that keeps them in business. So frankly, I figure I've got a right to complain. To stay in business, they got to please me, or a lot of guys like me. They don't even take the trouble to understand me. You want to know something? Well, I'll tell you. Now, I act like I know what's going on under that hood sometimes, but they ought to know as well as I do that I really don't know. That's what I'm relying on them for. To me, they're experts, and I'm willing to pay them for their expert service. But look what happened.
Morning, Mr. Smith.
Morning.
What can I do for you?
I need some gas.
Okay, how many?
$2 worth will be enough, I guess.
Oil and water all right today?
See? Now, how do I know how my oil is, or my battery, or anything else under that hood? And he couldn't know either without getting that hood up. Instead of telling me, my expert keeps asking me. It's not that he doesn't know his stuff, but you got to drag it out of him. And the fact is, he ought to keep reminding me of things all the time. Sure, I know he's got a lot on his mind, but to stay in business, he's got to keep me on his mind, too. If he leaves it to me to think of all the things my car needs, you know what happens? I'm in trouble. Now, you think he'd have grabbed the chance to get my antifreeze in a little early, before the last-minute rush set in. That way, he could have taken his time and really checked things over. He doesn't have to sell me on getting antifreeze. I know I have to have it, but getting it should be just routine, not something I have to rush in and buy at the first cold snap. Seems to me it'd be easier for everybody if before cold weather came along, he'd just say...
Say, Mr. Smith, while you're here, don't you think we ought to fix you up with some antifreeze?
Antifreeze? Well, it's a little early for that, ain't it? I thought I'd wait till the weather started.
You mean until the last minute? No, sir. For one thing, we always get in a rush around here at the last minute and might hold you up quite a bit. For another thing, to do the job right takes lots of time. And if you get your antifreeze now, why, we'll have plenty of time to check through your whole cooling system and be sure everything's okay.
Is that right? Well, I thought all you had to do was drain some water off and dump the stuff in.
Oh, no, sir. Actually, the whole system should be checked. catching them now, we could save you a lot of trouble later on.
Well, that sounds reasonable. Now, that's the kind of thing I really appreciate. Sure, I know he'll sell me a few extras that way, but if I need them, well, I need them. If he replaces stuff that's gone bad, that means he gets my money. If something goes wrong and we're out driving somewhere, why, naturally, I get it fixed wherever I am. It's that way with tires, the battery, and everything else. By just reminding me of things, the guy at my station can save me a lot of trouble and make more profit for himself. If you ask me, that's a nice arrangement. All he has to do is remember to remember. And to help him do that, he can tie a pretty big string around his finger. And around the customer's finger, too.
Well, that's one thing I don't have to worry about with the old bus anyway. I got permanent type antifreeze in there already. It's good all year.
Well, the fact is, Mr. Brown, that's not what permanent means.
Well, it said permanent right on the can.
Well, it means it simply won't boil away. Of course, it's good all winter long, but after one winter's use, it should be replaced because the inhibitors probably are used up and you've got no protection against rust and corrosion.
Well, why doesn't somebody tell me these things? Can you drain it right here on the drive? Get out of there right now?
Sure can. Be glad to. Then we'll use a cleaner on it and flush it out for you.
Yeah, let's get it fixed up right.
And I'll tell you something else. All of us customers have one thing in common. We're absent-minded. About our cars, anyway. And that's why, like I say, we've got to be reminded. I don't think it matters much how it's done, just so it's done. Take this antifreeze, for instance. Whether it's a poster or a postcard or whether my station man tells me himself, just so it's called to my attention early enough for me to avoid that last-minute rush business. And when he's got time to do the job thoroughly, I'm pleased with all the other services he gives me. Is, when I drive into a station, it's just to buy one thing, gasoline. It's up to the station man to remind me about other things. I'll listen to him. I'll take his word. He's the expert. I have to depend on him. But if I'm not reminded and I get in trouble, sooner or later I'll start going someplace else where I will be reminded. Antifreeze is just an example. But I read somewhere the other day that it's one of the biggest items in a station as far as volume goes. Second only to tires. Well, I guess that just about takes care of it. I hope I haven't been too grouchy, but I get pretty fed up having to listen to other people's complaints. I got plenty of my own. And I'll bet you got a lot of other customers just like me. We don't say much, but we get pretty tired of having things just about half right. Point is, I want my dealer to tell me what I need. In the first place, I like my car, and I want it to run right. I don't know how to take care of it. That's up to you. Another thing, I hate to see a fella passing up dough. Even my dough, when it's for something I'm going to have to buy anyway. It just doesn't seem very professional somehow. Well, I guess I've got a lot of things off my mind, and sometimes it does a fellow a lot of good to clear up his mind. All right, now, ladies, line up. Who's next, please?
I've been waiting for an hour.
Hey, Graham, I like the class.
sister.
What's the matter with
Yes.
it? It doesn't do anything for me. That's what's the matter with it. You can't expect miracles for $5.95, sister.
Oh, forget these goons and look at this sweater.
Oh, ladies, please. Keep quiet, please, ladies, so I can hear myself. Mr. Perkins. Oh, Mr. Perkins.